Well, I don't get my birthday wish of the war being over, but there are some Union victories. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny, and it's my birthday week this week, Johnny. So
happy birthday, Lieutenant Tommy! Yeah. I heard in the intro that it's not over.
Yeah,
yet.
War's not over yet.
Despite my plea.
Yes.
That
yeah.
It's time. It's been long enough. You have proven, South, that you're not doing shit, and it's just gonna get worse from you here. Save some face and surrender now. But despite all that. It's still your birthday, so I guess we can celebrate with hopefully some good news.
Yeah, we do have some good news this week. We'll start with a brief recap here. As this month is beginning, the South really, it's time to surrender. You lost Louisiana with Nolens; it's gone. The majority of the Mississippi is taken care of because we got the northern routes taken care of. Mm-hmm. We've got Nashville, Tennessee, your largest manufacturing center. Yeah, that's in our hands. Nolens as the ports in our hands. You lost swaths, and I mean swaths of land in the Carolinas. You have, in Burnside's campaign alone, over 10,000 Confederate prisoners. So like, what are you doing at this point?
You know what? I think what they're doing is they saw how well we treat our prisoners of war, and they're like, you know what? Instead of just surrendering, we will just get everybody captured, and then we're all prisoners of war, and they'll have to take care of us.
Yeah, they'll take care of them.
So
that might not be the that might not be the worst step.
I mean, because that's basically the end game for the North here is make all of them prisoners of war, and we take care of them again.
That's kind of what it sounds like. Kind of what it sounds like. But this month and this week, Johnny, it's going to open up with Abraham Lincoln writing General McClellan in regards to the siege guns that he ordered at the end of last week, and he says, and I quote, "This alarms me chiefly because it argues indefinite procrastination. Is anything to be done?" So he's writing McClellan going, "You want siege guns?
Yes.
Like, can you just fight?" Because
no, boss. There is something to be done here, Lincoln.
Fire
and the thing
McClellan.
to be done is get rid of McClellan.
Still hasn't done that yet.
What are we doing?
At the same time that Lincoln's writing a letter to McClellan going, "What the hell are you doing? Can you please act?" Traitor President Davis is writing a letter to Johnson saying that preparations need to be made to dismantle what they can of Norfolk Naval Yard because that's very close to Yorktown, and it doesn't appear that Yorktown is going to be operational much longer. So
they're pre-surrendering.
Yeah, maybe we need to. Well, not pre-surrender,
trying to
but
save
like
some of their equipment.
Like they need to get what they can out of Norfolk Navy. And that's their largest. Like, if they want to build boats, they're pretty much going to have to come out of Norfolk. So
and so now they're saying dismantle, get the stuff out, bring it back to somewhere where we can hopefully set up
something new. Yeah,
another manufacturing,
which isn't going to be in Nolens.
That will then be taken over by the North.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah. On the second day of May, Beauregard calls on the soldiers of the Confederacy to defend Corinth as Halleck's forces have begun moving towards the city from Pittsburgh Landing. It has become evident that, this is their next target. Like this, hey, we don't have enough guns or men to go around in our military. Can the people of Corinth please grab whatever you can? Rise up and help defend.
Good luck, folks.
Edward Stanley has been appointed the federal military governor of North Carolina. We've now taken enough swaths of land in North Carolina that we've set up a federal governor, just along with the federal governors of the former states, including Tennessee. So we have more of those Confederate states that have enough land occupied by Northerners that they have set up military governors. So,
which essentially brings them back into our fold.
At least in a sort of roundabout way. Yeah. Yep. Along with
we're prepping for it because eventually we're gonna have to put in. I mean, imagine we're not just going to absorb them back in and then let them...
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of punitive government.
People that are going to secede again in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of punitive government where we decide who leads you, and we're going to make sure that we are the ones controlling the law and order there. So, Yep.
Yes.
Yep. On the 3rd of May, General Johnston is going to withdraw his now 50,000-man army from Yorktown towards Richmond in the face of McClellan's larger force. And let that sink in for a second. Last month, when this whole siege of Yorktown began, McClellan's army had 100,000 men to 15,000. And the siege was so successful for the North that they allowed Johnston's 15,000-man army in Yorktown to grow to 50,000.
Balloon to 50,000. That is, I mean, 4 times nearly.
Yeah, but even at that point, they're still well over, 2-to-1 odds because at this point, McClellan's army is growing as well. So,
but okay, and then so they started pulling back.
The South has abandoned Yorktown and they're pulling back towards Richmond. Johnson is when those big siege guns.
Did he succeed?
Yes. So technically speaking, McClellan won in Yorktown by just waiting long enough. And shooting enough big shells of their siege guns at them.
Now you know what? That's reinforcing bad behavior right there.
That is reinforcing.
That's what that is doing. That's going to end up costing him in the long run. Because
McClellan's going to claim in all the local papers that Lincoln limited his forces that were at his disposal, and that is why it took him so long, and that Johnson's army outnumbered his. Like he kept claiming, I didn't fight because Johnson's army was bigger than mine. And old Lincoln didn't let me have the soldiers that I wanted. Lie. Which is, I don't know who his scouts were or who the hell he had giving him information, but it was a flat-out lie.
I mean, it must have been somebody like me because I cannot look at a number of people, like a bunch of people, and figure out how many there are. If there's more than 10, there could be
hundreds of thousands.
2,000, and I don't know.
Yep.
It's all the same.
Yeah, he definitely didn't make any personal observations to see what was there because nope. Yeah, do better.
Or don't lie. I don't believe that. I think he's just covering his ass.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to say there's no way the local news is going to report the accurate number, so I'm just going to say they had more. So people don't blame
you want to know what, Tommy? I'm not in the actual United States. I'm out in the territory, so I'm going to say it. McClellan is a Southern sympathizing traitor.
He
is
might be
sabotaging our army on purpose. Because he is a sympathizer and he needs to be removed immediately and tried for treason.
I'm gonna go ahead and
who do I write to?
Lincoln.
Okay, I'll send a letter.
Send a telegraph, Johnny. And also on the 3rd, Johnny, the first of Halleck's forces are going to engage with the Confederates near Farmington, which is just outside of Corinth. Halleck is so confident that he's going to telegraph Lincoln saying that his army is going to reach Corinth by the 4th of May.
Oh.
I don't think it pans out just that way.
How far away is he?
Several miles, not super far.
But he thinks he can still.
He thinks he can get. He thinks he can get the bulk of his forces to the Corinth defensive lines by May 4th.
All right, let's do it.
McClellan is going to declare that his moves at Yorktown were a resounding success, as on May 4th, he enters the city, even though Johnson's army grew in size 4.5 times, and now poses a larger threat as it's reinforcing Richmond than, if he would have just went ahead and attacked when he first got there, when he had a damn near 10-to-1 advantage.
And then you can move on to Richmond without them having all of their forces in Richmond.
Yeah, he basically gave Johnson enough time to solidify all of his forces in Virginia towards the Richmond area. So, way to go, McClellan.
Yeah, you freaking traitor.
Some of McClellan's forces finally do engage and do something in a brief skirmish near Williamsburg as they engage the rear guard of Johnson's forces as they're retreating back towards Richmond. And Halleck is going to miss that May 4th deadline to Corinth, but his forces...
What? How? What?
His forces under Sherman are within 6 miles of the city defenses, so he's kind of close, but he's not actually there at
6
Corinth.
miles?
Yeah, so 6 miles out of the city.
Take a hike, bud. What...
Yeah,
what
are
you doing?
It's almost there. He's close enough.
I mean, that's about where you put the munitions for the troops, a month back or whatever.
Yeah. Way out in the west.
So they're basically there. They're ready to engage.
Right there. They're ready.
Just leave your extra ammo and charge forward.
Yeah, just food, supplies, all that stuff. You don't need any of that. Right.
It'll be fun.
Johnny, that skirmish at Williamsburg is going to turn into a battle on the 5th of May as Union forces under Joseph Hooker and Phil Kearny clash with Johnson's rear guard under James Longstreet and D.H. Hill. There is significant heavy fighting at the Confederate line, which was the defensive redoubts, which were built earlier.
Okay.
At the first Confederate positions, they're able to hold, but as Hooker brings up more and more of his troops, they're able to occupy part of the Confederate line. Winfield S. Hancock's division.
Now, I'm sorry. I'm gonna interrupt. Occupy some of their line. That means they took.
Yeah,
over
they took over a
portion
chunk of the
it?
Confederate lines. Yeah, so
And now
the Confederates built these redoubts, which are like temporary, quick-built forts.
How big is the Confederate line? Do you know how far it stretched, or how long? Just a typical type of line would stretch.
This is a retreating force towards Richmond. So this is the rear guard. So all the job here isn't to actually defeat the Union; it's to delay us so that we can't completely cut off
slow,
and destroy.
Just a buffer.
So
to
they're
slow
buffering.
Us down.
I do believe it's like, I mean, I don't know officially, but my guess is probably a mile-long defensive line.
So typically be like a mile or so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long.
Yeah, you got a good significant number.
I'm just trying to conceptualize how a portion of a line could be.
These are divisions,
like,
so these aren't
being like, hey guys.
Yeah, these are divisions, so these aren't like small numbers of troops here that we've got fighting. To give you an idea, there are actually 40,000 Union troops are going to be engaged during this battle, 30,000 Confederate. So this isn't a skirmish. This is
a big,
legit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a battle.
Sense.
This is
this
chunk
is big stuff.
of both armies.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and let me know.
Now this continues. Yes,
did we get the rest of that line.
Winfield S. Hancock's division is going to be able to outflank the Confederates, and by the evening, the Confederates are going to be forced to pull out completely and join the continued retreat of Johnson's force. This is a Union victory, but it's kind of a shallow one because the Confederates are able to delay the Union advance and giving
it's a bit of a planned Union victory from the Confederates, right? They're like, we know we're losing this, but let's
delayed you
a
for
thorn in their side and a pain in their ass, and then we'll move on and or retreat, go back, and then be able to
delay for a day. They retreat. It's still all what it is. Union have, like I said, 40,000 engaged with 456 killed, 1,410 wounded, and 373 missing. To Confederates, 30,000 engaged. We have very rough numbers here, but around 1,600 are going to be wounded and killed total, with 133 missing. So relatively normal numbers, or evenish numbers. Give or take here or there between both sides. Now,
I hate how normal these numbers are.
with what we got going on right now, Johnny. I take these casualties over some of the other ones that we've had lately.
No, yeah, you're right. It's a pretty low percentage.
Casualty-wise, yeah, but it's still there.
I mean, God.
Now, Johnny, while this battle is going on, at the same time, way down in Mexico, if you remember from a couple of months ago, there was the French intervention into Mexico. So basically, Mexico told England and Spain and France that they're not going to pay their debts, and they all went down there.
They tried to attack one city or whatever.
Yeah, they all went down there like, you gotta pay the debts, and they're like, no, we're not gonna.
No.
And then England and Spain went, yeah, we don't have time for this, and this is going to cost us way more money to fuck with them than it is to
they've tried North America before, at least England. And they're
so they bounced.
Go well for us.
But Napoleon III is like, no, I'm going to teach Mexico a lesson. So he's been invading swaths of land of Mexico. So there was this temporary truce where the Mexicans are like, okay, we'll agree to pay if you guys just pull back a little bit. And France was like, okay, we'll pull back a little bit. And then
you want to chill out.
And then when Mexico saw a huge army of the French moving, they're like, no, they're not really moving.
That's not chill.
They're moving in a random direction that's not exactly where we want them to go, and it seems like it's not exactly towards the sea. So we're gonna go ahead and take this as hostile. And they get a large army and develop it at or base it at Pueblo, the city of Pueblo, where the French do engage them in a battle.
Okay, now is this a Is there a possibility of this just being a misunderstanding and them not knowing?
It's a little bit of a misunderstanding. Yeah, it's a little bit, but yeah, it's okay.
And then they see the Mexican army come in and they're like, oh well, I guess we got to fight. And then they're like, we got to fight them, and then they do that. And
so
fight them.
The French underneath Charles de Lorenzes, he's gonna think that the city of Pueblo's population was actually in love with the French. He thought, look, they love the French, so they're gonna rise up against their Mexican military oppressors. And
they'd be welcomed as liberators.
Yeah, he was wrong.
Right?
He was horribly wrong. As swaths,
they're cool with their government.
Yeah, swaths of the population were like, these white people are trying to take our land. We don't like that.
Don't like that. Seen that before.
So the French are going to commit up to...
Some of the natives came down, told us all about it.
So the French are going to commit up to 6,500 troops against between 2 to 5,000 Mexicans. Reports vary significantly as there's that civilian population number that gets thrown in there, and we don't really know. It's hard to show which one's which.
So 2 to 5,000 is the official, or at least 2,000 troops.
At least 2,000, less than 5,000.
Additional uprising of citizens that are grabbing their I don't know, pitchforks and shotguns and whatever the hell they have, and
exactly. They are going to they're going to
folks.
rise up against the French, who outnumber them, and they are in a very surprise to the whole world, kick the ever-loving crap out of the French. So bad, in fact, that the French have to retreat back to the coast to regroup and what the hell just happened?
Maybe instead of regrouping, you'll just get the hell out of here.
Should, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that.
Shit.
The French are going to lose 462 killed, 404 wounded, and 127 captured, and that's kind of embarrassing for those guys that get captured.
1,000 casualties?
460.
Over.
No, over 1,000 casualties on the French side. To the very, very modest Mexican losses of 87 killed, 132 wounded, and 12 missing. So that is embarrassing. That is very one-sided victory there. Yep.
Holy cow, France! What are you doing?
Now, the reason I tell you this, Johnny, is because this bodes very, very well for the Northern Yankees, as there was some rumors that France was thinking about joining the Confederates and aiding the Confederates in the war against the North.
Excuse me?
They love the Southern cotton. There is this cultural center of Nolens, which is very, very much French.
Tommy.
Yep.
Was.
And that's exactly it, Johnny.
Was.
So you pair that. Nolens is now in Northern hands, and this really embarrassing loss to Mexico, where that now pretty much stops them.
Mexico, to their citizens of Mexico, and some army, but.
So the plan here was, or the thought here was that France would invade Mexico and then come up to aid the Confederates through Texas.
Oh shit.
But that does not seem
can't do that. You got to make it through Mexico first
to be on the table anymore, and it appears very much that France is now no longer interested in aiding the Confederates, as this war in Mexico is going to be a hell of a lot longer than they were anticipating. So
they're like, oh, we'll fight a war in Mexico, win that real quick, and then we'll go up and aid the South in this war that they are doing so well in.
Yeah, so very, very
all
well.
they need is a little boost, and I mean, for crying out loud, they'd regain all of the massive amounts of territory they've lost, and the morale and people would be thrilled.
And give them way more troops and ammunition and food. But yeah, whatever. Anyways.
And instead, y'all mess with the Mexicans, got messed up, and now you're going to go home with your tail between your legs, and this war is going to be over in a month.
At least it looks like it. On the 6th...
Hey, P.S. In my letter to Lincoln, I'm going to also request that he request Mexico for help.
Yeah,
because could you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll give them Texas back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that might not be a bad idea. That might not
help us out. We'll give you Texas, and I mean, come on, this war's over so fast.
Yeah, maybe. So on the 6th of May, Johnny, Union forces are going to occupy Williamsburg, and Stonewall Jackson is going to begin his Valley campaign, which he's just trying to. His whole campaign here is trying to delay troops from being moved from Western Virginia, the Kanawha Valley, down to Richmond, Virginia. So we don't trying to keep the Union Army separated.
What the Confederate was doing earlier, excuse me.
Yeah, delaying, trying to keep us occupied. So he's going to start that campaign at Staunton when he's going to surprise Union forces underneath Banks at Harrisburg, who see Jackson's troops coming and goes, oh shit, I didn't know there's people here, and we're going to promptly retreat back to Newmarket for reasons. They don't engage in anything. They just see Confederates down the road, and they're like, time to get out of here.
Well, you know what, but I'm kind of okay with that, because if you're not expecting a battle or anything else, you're not prepared for it, you're going to lose. You're going to lose at least folks, like you're going to lose some troops. And so maybe just buffer that.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of there. Come back and then put your foot on the throat in a little bit.
Yeah, I get you. On May 7th, there would be skirmishing at Eltham's Landing when Confederates under G.W. Smith would attack Union forces advancing towards Richmond under William Franklin. This skirmish is intended to protect the wagon supply retreat, which is still coming from Yorktown, and does briefly push back Union positions. But aided by gunboats on the river, Johnny, the Union was able to retake all ground lost in the morning by the evening time. Unfortunately for the Union...
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Unfortunately for the Union, though, this victory is also hollow because they missed a perfect opportunity to cut off G.W. Smith and sack the wagon supply train, which would have kind of destroyed the entire Johnson's army because he would have lost his entire supply.
So it seems to me like their concentration and our concentration is get to Richmond and prevent the North from getting to Richmond.
Yes, yeah.
At this point, there's heavy concentration getting that done.
Yes.
On both sides. So suppose we take Richmond. That's it, right?
Should be. Yeah, should be.
Bye.
Bye. Should be. Yeah, I think it's like we're engaging in a game of try to capture the other person's capital because Lincoln's.
It's capture the flag.
Yes, it's kind of it's devolving right? into that. Yeah.
Because we have taken over their East Coast, their West Coast, their Southern Coast, their Northern Coast, everything. Like we
have taken
our little Anaconda plan is coming in, and we're wrecking them.
Yeah,
and
we're constricting.
But none of that
none
of that puts it in their little head that this isn't going to work for us. We should surrender. And so we got to just
fortify Richmond.
Take the capital. And we probably have to get T.P. Davis arrested and thrown in jail or something.
Something, yeah.
Because otherwise, they're just going to keep this war going for God knows.
It's looking like that. And Johnny, this week's going to end on my birthday on the May 8th. But unfortunately, no great birthday news here, as the war is not going to be ending. Instead, we get the Battle of McDowell, Virginia, where 6,000 Union forces under Robert Schneck are going to attempt to send Stonewall Jackson and his 10,000 men packing in Western Virginia. And it doesn't work, and they're going to lose this battle. So, no great birthday news. Jackson is basically going to be able to take the heights around McDowell, and the Union forces are going to be unable to regain them during this battle. Though it's a skirmish. At this point, now that we've had 100,000 man fielded armies, if you get anything less than 10, this is a skirmish. But it is what it is.
Call it what it is, and. God, I don't know. I'm ready for this to be over, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be too.
It's stupid. It's just, what are you doing?
Well, Schneck, he's going to withdraw his forces towards Franklin, although it doesn't seem to look like Jackson's going to be able to cut them off, though, so at least there's that. His forces are going to be able to retreat, and that's going to be that.
Which is good. I mean, it saves some casualties, right?
Yeah, so it is what it is. 26 Union are going to be killed, 227 wounded with 3 missing, so at least it wasn't a high casualty count thing here.
Yeah,
they're going to be...
that's nothing, except to those 27 mothers
and for Jackson's effort, he's going to get his butt kicked in the casualty count with 75 Confederates killed, 423 wounded, so well over double casualties for this victory that's really kind of
just
hollow.
A thing.
Yeah. I mean, you stop the armies from merging, but... So we'll see how this...
Just wait.
Yeah, we'll just wait. You can't win them all, and you can't win this war the way it's going for you right now. So we'll see next week. Maybe next week, Johnny. Maybe I'll get a birthday month present and the war will just be over in May. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight, where we talk about how cars driving by my house annoy the fuck out of me.